Hey everyone, Duke Nougat 3D here with a more informative type of video, and this is one that has been requested for quite some time on most of my videos, and that is how to remove and install cheek filters on M17 series masks. Now normally I don't like to touch these masks with a 20-foot pole because they are an archaic, outdated, and just overall useless design by current standards, but some people are wanting to know just for the sake of, I don't know, purposes, I guess. I don't really know why people want these things, but nevertheless, the removal of filters is for some reason quite a challenge for you guys, so I'm going to do a partial on-camera review and sort of demonstrate how you would manage these things. So, when we first remove the face form, first thing you're going to want to do is remove the inlet caps themselves, which is easier said than done half the time. I know that one came off very easily, but half of the time these things will be stuck on there. I don't really have a good solution as to prying these things off other than maybe using a piece of rubber as a jar opener and just a lot of force and being careful. And as you can see, I have the M13A2 filter elements installed here, which are the green ring, the older M13A1, which are gold ring, and the M13 are for tear gas. I know the M13A1 does protect against all. I think they mentioned that M13A1 was like a older variant of the M13A2 where it protects against all known NBC agents, and then it got upgraded for other agents. I don't really know the full details. Again, I don't study these masks very much, but not really important to know whether or not you're having or what type of filters you have in here, because obviously you can't really use this mask. So inverting the harness, looking inside, you will notice that there are two buttons on flaps here, and what you're going to want to do, I'm only going to remove one of these filters just for the sake of time constraints. What you're going to want to do is stretch the nose cup off to the side and then over and up that first button. And then you're going to do the same for the other two buttons, being very careful. You might want to pull them down a bit, because that way you're stretching out where the rubber is the thickest and you're not going to potentially tear through the rubber. Just be very careful. And you should have both of those open, because these do like to tear sometimes. As you can see, this is getting a little bit warped there, or disformed from being open so many times. And this process applies to all M17 style masks, except for the PBF. Well, also the PBF, but it's a lot simpler and easier to manage the PBF filters. So next, what you're going to want to do, and I haven't done this in a while, so do forgive me, is you're going to want to stretch the cavity open here and try and get that filter up and out of the pocket from the rear forwards. So you can see I already budged it. You're going to want to start from that blunt, straight edge first and sort of rotate it up. And then once you've got it a little bit loose, you grab the slack of the rubber, or at least that's the theory, kind of bunch it up, and as you can see, I'm starting to get it over there. What might help, usually use a screwdriver maybe, or give me a second here, a very blunt tool, except not that one. Give me a second here, guys. There we go. This will work. I was gonna say use a one of the angled pick tools that I'm partially using for restoration, but like the blunt end of like a paintbrush will suffice, and just sort of work that up, around, and over that lip. That's again easier said than done here, but this will make it a hell of a lot easier to remove the filters. Doing it this way. Once you've got it started going, it will naturally follow all the way around. And again, these filters have not been removed in ages, so it is a bit tricky. Doesn't need to be all the way off, I suppose, but just for the sake of making the video shorter, I will. And there we go. Once you've got that, you can basically pry the mask this way and pull the rest of the filter out. Like so. You have your spare filter. Now, inserting the filter is a different story. It's basically the same process in reverse, however, it is a bit more finicky due to the fact that you are inserting the filter instead of prying it in. I find the best way to do it is insert it from the triangular end first, which again, easier said than done, but it's got to be done somehow. You're going to want to pry that nose cup as far back away as possible. And just slip it in down through there. Oh, good lord. I never said this would be easy. It might help to do it from the chin piece as well. You're going to want to take full advantage of this this chin cup right here. You're going to want to stretch that as well as the insertion flap. So just kind of insert it over the nose cup. Don't even bother prying it out of the way. That's my advice right now. And then kind of reach your fingers inside there and push the nose cup past the filtering element. And then try and get it down in there. Kind of work it from the outside. Grab on that ring and pull it a couple times just to be safe. Takes a lot of finagling, a lot of practice, and again, it's a very, very complicated procedure. As you can see, I'm already fumbling with it, and I've been doing this for years. Haven't done it in a while, but it's all memory based off of the principles of the thing. The hard part is rotating it into that proper position, because as you can see, it does not want to budge very well. And you want to be careful not to rip anything in the process. But eventually, you'll get it positioned, and you'll want to start seating the opening around the ring, pushing it down, make sure it's lined up flush, kind of getting in there with your fingernail and tucking that rubber in. And then once that's there, you can lift up the nose cup. Just get that filter in there all the way. I'm trying to get a good angle on this. Give me one right here, fellas. Get this flap up and over. Just shove the filter on home. And you want to get this lower lip of the nose cup over the chin rest. Just kind of smooth it out. Again, it's I managed to unbutton this one in the process, so maybe it's best to have both all the flaps unbuttoned while you're doing this, just for flexibility purposes. Kind of massage the filter around, kind of finagle it, jostle it, what have you. And then it comes time to finally button the nose cup, or the buttoning flaps back up. So you're going to want to have this flap here, where it's curved, the lower one with the studs down. And then you're going to want to carefully stretch the rubber over it. You may want to moisten it with saliva or water first, being careful not to get any moisture on the filters. That's not a lot of saliva. And then simply just massage the rubber over the stud. I know I'm not getting a very good view of this, but you're going to have to take my word for it. And then the second one is easier because it is longer. You're going to definitely want to make sure that the second one closest to the nose cup is the longer one, because it's accommodating both that opening flap and the nose cup itself. And let me get this too. And once that's in place, you have all you have to do is snap the inlet valve back in place. But you're going to want to make sure these little louvres, these little slants on the inside, are pointing downwards this way, so that any incoming moisture will be repelled off of these and not go into the filters. So, and they just push right into place. Although with the Czech and the Bulgarian filters, these will screw on, which I find is a much better design personally, as mentioned in my OM10 review. And again, just making sure that the louvres are pointing downwards. And there you have it. That's how you remove and install M17 filters. Hopefully I gave a clear enough indication on how you do this. I know it was kind of I kind of was moving the mask around a whole lot, but it's a very complicated process, as you kind of understand by now. So, that being said, I'm Duke Needed 3D. Hope you all learned a thing or two. If you want more informative reviews like this, just let me know. If you have any comments, questions, corrections, or concerns, drop them down in the comments below, and I'll see you all later.